could do two of them, the third one. Yes, that'd be great, but they went through this.
All right, good evening, East Hampton Town Board. We're broadcasting live on Channel 22, streaming to YouTube. The phone lines are open, and we are being recorded. You may begin your meeting.
Thank you, Matthew. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the East Hampton Town Board meeting of Thursday, December 19th, 2024. This is our last meeting of the year. Carol, if you could please read the roll call.
Councilmember Flight.
Present.
Councilmember Lees.
Present.
Councilmember Rogers.
Present.
Councilmember Calder-Pino.
Present.
Supervisor Gonzalez.
Present. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So before we start, I wanted to show a little love for our friend Liam Baum. Liam attends East Hampton High School and is a high scorer on the Bonnick Unified Sports basketball team. And Liam, we all wish you a very speedy recovery. On a more somber note, this morning, anti-Semitic graffiti, including swastikas, were discovered at Chadmore State Park. This afternoon, my colleagues and I attended a rally in Montauk in solidarity with our Jewish neighbors. On behalf of the town board, we wish to thank the organizers for putting the rally together on such short notice, the speakers who spoke from the heart, and all of those in attendance. Today's acts are devastating and heartbreaking to our Jewish family, friends, and neighbors, tearing at the fabric of our entire community. Fortunately, the love for community is strong here and stronger than the symbols of hate discovered in Chadmore today. Maybe it's because we're at the end, but this community always stands strong together. We take care of each other, and we will continue to educate, create space for, and keep safe every single one of our neighbors as we stand for love, respect, and acceptance for all. So now we are going to welcome Hugh King, our town historian, who is all decked out for the holidays.
Okay, well, I'm the town crier tonight, all right?
Oh,
That's
my
okay.
apologies.
The pay's the same.
Free.
Yes, okay. This is what's happening in East Hampton on December 19th. In East Hampton history, nothing. But on December 18th, in 1651, 3 men were chosen to set the place for the meeting house. There wasn't a church yet in 1651. They had been meeting at the ordinary, Thomas Baker's ordinary. So these 3 men were chosen to pick the place for the church. And then the 3 men were also chosen to get thatch for the roof. That was their job, okay? The 3 men were Ralph Dayton, Thomas Chatfield, and Thomas Osborne Sr. And then it was ordered that the 3 men had the power to marry during the year because Reverend James wasn't here yet, okay? Okay, now it's 1653, Community Preservation Funds. You ready? It was formed that Vincent Meggs was going to be given 20 acres of land in the Northwest to build a mill. This is not the mills that we know today. This was an oxen-driven or a horse-driven mill that was built someplace in the Northwest. And the people were charged to go down there, and they had to bring the lumber down there and the millstones down to the mill. And then it was said that if he's going to sell the mill, the town gets first crack at it, all right? So he couldn't sell it and take off. So that was the first mill, okay, like 1653. Okay, it was ordered that Thomas Talmadge, the town clerk, shall call out the town by turns to look after whales for the present year. Each, in the whaling season, different sections of the town had to go out and look for the whales. That was their job. That was the town clerk's job. I don't know if the town clerk does that now. I don't think so, right?
Carol?
Now, if you're ordered to go out to look for the whale and you neglect your duty, you had to pay a fine. Okay? Okay. Okay, there were 4 men who were chosen to run the town affairs in 1656, not 3. By the way, there's men. No women are involved in this, of course. Okay? Those were John Hand, Thomas Thompson, Ben Price, and Thomas Talmadge. And then it was ordered that whoever shall desert the town and leave the town leaving us one inhabitant short, they don't get their part of the whale. So I guess when the whale was caught, it was divided up among the people depending on who worked to cut it and who went out to look for it. And then here's my favorite. The minister has arrived, Mr. Thomas James, okay, our first minister. Mr. Thomas James declared against Daniel Fairfield. Daniel Fairfield was the servant to Joshua and Elizabeth Garlick of the Goody Garlick witchcraft fame, okay? So Mr. James declared against Daniel Fairfield for acting filthiness with his maid and attempting a dalliance with his daughter. This guy was really busy. Okay. So what was the verdict? The verdict in the trial considered the case against the said Daniel by Mr. James. They find for the plaintiff that Daniel is guilty of the act with the one and of dalliance with the other. Eventually, the Garlicks had to post a bond for his behavior. That's what they had to do years ago. You had to post a bond for certain people if they were a pain in the neck. And that's all I have, except when I come back next time, at the beginning of the year, Chief Sarlo has given me a list of all the police chiefs that we've had. So we're going to be talking about the police chiefs at the meetings starting in January. I'm doing the same thing in the village, too. Okay, that's it. I'm gone. Did I make 3 minutes? No?
We didn't time you.
No,
Okay.
but we could borrow the bell.
Okay, so tonight we have 9 public hearings, and I'm just going to kindly remind folks that we ask you to keep your comments to 3 minutes, and that's followed by public portion and then resolutions. So Carol, if you'd like to read the first meeting notice.
Public hearings will be held live and in person by the town board and will be available electronically by video and teleconferencing and will be televised on local TV, Channel 22, and available for live stream on the LTV website. The public shall be permitted to appear in person and may also provide comments on the matter by being heard by calling 351-888-6331. Any person or party wishing to be heard with respect to the foregoing may do so in person by agent, by attorney, or by written comment addressed to the East Hampton Town Clerk, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton. Comments may also be submitted to the town clerk by email to cbrennan@ehamptonny.gov. All comments must be received by the town clerk by the date and time of the public hearing. Please check the meeting agenda posted on the town's website for any changes and for updated information. Notice is hereby given that the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing at Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on Thursday, December 19th at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter, as this matter may be heard, to consider comments of all persons regarding a draft renewable energy roadmap plan, a copy of which is available for review at the town clerk's office and online.
Thank you, Carol. Is there anyone signed up for public hearings tonight? Not for that one. Is there anyone here that would like to address the board on this first public hearing? No. Matthew, is there anyone on the line?
We have no callers at this time.
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carol, if you could read the next meeting notice, please.
Please take notice that pursuant to Section 247 of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York and the provisions of the East Hampton Town Code, the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing in the Town Hall Meeting Room, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on Thursday, December 19th at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the same may be heard, to hear comments of all persons wishing to be heard concerning the grant of the requested first-time home buyer down payment assistance. The applicant is Christopher and Haley Sinquay. The down payment assistance amount requested is $30,000.
Is there anyone here that would like to address the board on this matter? Matthew, anyone on the line?
No callers on the line.
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carol, the third notice, please.
Please take notice that pursuant to Section 247 of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York and the provisions of the East Hampton Town Code, the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing in the Town Hall Meeting Room, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on Thursday, December 19th at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the same may be heard, to hear comments of all persons wishing to be heard concerning the grant of the requested first-time homebuyer down payment assistance. The applicant is Robin Soda. The down payment assistance requested is $30,000.
David?
Good evening. Happy
Welcome,
holidays. David Buddha. Just one brief comment with respect to this application for down payment assistance. I just want to reiterate what I think you all know, and sometimes the public may not recognize it, that the state defines a first-time homeowner or first-time home buyer as not someone who has never owned a home, but rather someone who has not owned a home or have a spouse that owns a home within the past 3 years and doesn't have any vacation homes or investment homes. So, and I understand that is what our rules and regulations and town code and state code does allow, but it is interesting that someone who might be a mature person who has owned a substantial home in another location for some period of time and has either relocated or downsized and now is seeking to purchase a new home after a gap of 3 years is someone that is qualified for an interest-free $30,000 loan, presuming that all other requirements are met. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Would anyone else like to address the board? Matthew, is there anyone on the line?
We have no callers on the line.
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Carol, if you could read the fourth meeting notice, please.
Please take notice that pursuant to Section 247 of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York and the provisions of the East Hampton Town Code, the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing in the Town Hall Meeting Room, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on Thursday, December 19th at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the same may be heard, to hear comments of all persons wishing to be heard concerning the grant of the requested first-time homebuyer down payment assistance. The applicant is David Gaviola. The down payment assistance requested is $30,000.
Thank you, Carol. Anyone here like to address the board? Matthew, is there anyone on the line?
We have no callers on the line.
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Carol, we're up to the fifth meeting notice, please.
Take notice that the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on December 19th at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter as this matter may be heard in the Town Board Meeting Room, East Hampton Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, to consider the following: awarding of funding for eligible community housing project using community housing funds as followed: 114 Middle Income Workforce Housing, EHHA, amount requested $1,500,000 grant.
Thank you, Carol. Eric, did you just want to introduce this quickly?
Sure, I could do that. Eric Shantz, the Director of Housing. So I guess what I'll do is just give you a brief overview of the request. So the Housing Authority is proposing to construct up to 50 new rental apartments with a mix of 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units, targeting middle-income households. The town transferred 2 parcels of land on Route 114 in Waynescott to the Housing Authority to construct the development. The utilization of federal, state, and county funding often requires that tenant incomes be capped at significantly less than the town standard, which is 130% of area median income. The plan for this project was to have all housing units be for tenants at an income of up to 130% AMI, and the Housing Authority is requesting CHF money to effectuate this. A minimum of 75% of the units will be reserved at 130% AMI if alternate funding sources require inclusion of tenants at lower income levels. So that's basically a summary of the request. And then again, as noted in the public hearing notice, the request is for a $1.5 million grant.
Thank you, Eric. Is anyone here that would like to address the board on this public hearing? Matthew, is there anyone on the line?
We have no callers on the line.
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're up to the 6th meeting notice.
Take notice that the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on December 19th at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard in the Town Board Meeting Room, East Hampton Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, to consider the following: awarding of funding for eligible community housing project using community housing funds as follows: Whalebone Apartments renovations, amount requested $345,000 grant.
Thank you, Carol. Eric?
Sure. Okay, so Whalebone has operated their 46-unit affordable rental complex for low to moderate income households since 1989 and currently has a waiting list of over 300 applicants. Upgrades to the living units and site improvements are proposed based on an integrated physical needs assessment prepared by a New York State Homes and Community Renewal approved design firm. The proposed project includes replacing fossil fuel burning equipment with electric units, adding solar panels, and upgrading kitchens, bathrooms, and floorings in the units at a total cost estimated to be $4.1 million. The current ask is seeking $345,000 from the Community Housing Fund to partially cover an estimated $750,000 in soft costs that would be incurred over the next year as they work on that project, and this is requested in the form of a grant.
Great, thank you, Eric. Is there anyone here that would like to address the board on this public hearing? Matthew, is there anyone on the line?
We have no callers on the line.
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Carol, if you could read the 7th meeting notice, please.
Take notice that the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on December 19th at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard in the Town Board Meeting Room, East Hampton Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, to consider the following: awarding of funding for eligible community housing project using community housing funds for the East Hampton Housing Authority funding application for the cottages. It's $500,000 grant.
Thank you, Carol. Eric?
Okay. The Housing Authority has been managing a 9-unit facility known as the Cottages and now wishes to purchase the site from the Sag Harbor Community Housing Trust and continue its rehabilitation of the units, preserving them as affordable in perpetuity for a total project cost of $1.3 million. After acquisition, the Housing Authority plans to make significant site improvements such as connecting to public water, upgrading electrical service to provide for all electric efficiency, and tying into the sewage treatment plant planned for the neighboring 114 middle-income housing project. The Housing Authority is seeking a $500,000 grant from the Community Housing Fund.
Thank you, Eric. Is there anyone here that would like to address the board on this matter? Matthew, is there anyone on the line?
We have no callers on the line.
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're up to the 8th meeting notice, please.
Take notice that the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on December 19th at 6 o'clock or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard in the Town Board Meeting Room, East Hampton Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, to consider the following: awarding of funding for eligible community housing project using community housing funds as follows: Windmill 1 expansion, amount requested $338,000 loan.
Thank you, Carol.
You're
back.
Yes. Windmill, the owner and developer of the 40-unit Windmill 1 affordable rental complex for senior citizens since 1987, wishes to add 20 new approximately 600 square foot units to the Windmill 1 site for a total cost of $6.3 million. Windmill is seeking a $338,000 loan from the Community Housing Fund to cover soft costs expected to be incurred over the next year for planning and development, including architectural and engineering plans, legal fees, surveys, and the like. The loan will be paid back upon full project financing.
Thank you, Eric. Is there anyone here that would like to address the board on this topic? Matthew, is there anyone on the line?
We have no callers on the line.
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carol, if you could read the 9th and final meeting notice, please.
Take notice that the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on December 19th at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard in the Town Board Meeting Room, East Hampton Hampton Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, to consider the following: awarding of funding for eligible community housing project using community housing funds as follows. The Green at Gardner's Point, GGV, amount requested, $1 million grant.
Thank you, Carol.
Okay, the East Hampton Housing Authority with Georgia Go Green Ventures has built 50 1-, 2-, and 3-bedroom rental apartments on a portion of a 14-acre site. The $35.4 million project is largely complete. Prospective tenants have been selected through a lottery with move-in basically happening right now. Georgia Go Green Ventures secured more than $23.9 million in capital from public and private sources for the project, including federal, state, and Suffolk County funding, along with a mortgage, but is requesting $1 million from the Community Housing Fund to cover a funding gap due to a significant rise in interest rates since the start of the project. And this is again a $1 million request in the form of a grant.
Thank you, Eric.
So we've got some folks signed up first, and the first up is Katie Casey. Welcome, Katie.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric, for doing all that prep work and putting it all together. That's makes it easier for us as applicants. Katie Casey from the East Hampton Housing Authority. I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for coming yesterday to the ribbon cutting. I thought that was a great event, and I appreciate you being there. As Eric mentioned, this particular application, this is a co-development between the Housing Authority and GGV. This is a town project. The town a few years back did contribute $25,000 to the project to get us up and running, just to do some preliminary stuff. Although this application was submitted by GGV, it is also a Housing Authority project. Having a rock solid partner like GGV in the community to do these projects that are a tremendous asset to the community, tens of millions of dollars. At the time that we commenced this project, the Community Housing Fund did not yet exist. It was only this past summer, July, I believe it was, that it opened up for applications. Had the fund existed in '21, we would have certainly put in an application for community housing funds. So thank you to the CHAB for all of their work. I have an idea of how much work went into getting us to today, these first awards. I think this is very exciting. And I thank you for considering the two applications, the cottages and 114, and also GGV. I just wanted to tether the Housing Authority to that project. Although it's got GGV's name on it, we're a part of it also. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Katie. Next up is Jane Meering. Welcome, Jane.
Thank you. Good evening, Town Board, for your last meeting of the year. For the record, my name is Jane Meering. I'm a resident of Amagansett on Ocean Lane. I speak tonight as an individual citizen and not as a member of any appointed boards in the town. Just a little background, leading up to the November 23rd Election Day public referendum for the establishment of the new Community Housing Fund transfer tax, I think I spent 4 or 5 Saturday mornings outside the Amagansett post office campaigning for and educating for the passage of this fund. Lots of robust conversation with fellow citizens. We know East Hampton proudly passed this with the highest margin of any of the towns. So I just want to say, I think for many people, myself included, it's been exciting this year watching the money start to come in and the CHAB being in position, to start to make these grants. I watched the December 3rd work session closely as Eric Shantz presented the current set of requests, but tonight I rise specifically to speak in support of the funding requests for the GGV project and the Housing Authority project at the Green at Gardner's Point. I'm aware that there were some questions or concerns good conversation, but I just want to lay out, if I may, my points about why I support it. So number one, we have Andrew Garvey, the CHAB, and the East Hampton Housing Authority in full support. That carries a lot of weight with me. Number two, I agree that the bulk of CHF dollars, or a lot of it, should go to creating new affordable housing units, and I see this as very much that. As was just said, there's a timing issue when the fund came in versus to that. I don't think it should be a problem that we're in, quote, post-construction phase. Number three, if I have my numbers correct, this is 50 new units with, I think, 100 bedrooms, which could mean housing 200 human beings with affordable and safe housing, and that's very productive. Four, we learned during the work session the total cost of the project is $35.4 million, and thus far the town has contributed $25,000 into it. With 1 million more, that would make the contribution, I think, only 2.8% of the total. Number five, I know concerns were expressed that perhaps the developer could have planned or forecasted better, but I think it was Councilman Ian Calder Piedmont who mentioned the technicality that it's the state that kind of controls the inputs that are part of the forecasting, and so I don't even think 8% could have been something that they could have focused on. Number six, Supervisor, you mentioned that the 1 million of the town there'll also be a contribution from the state, so it's not like the town is alone here. Number seven, I followed all the town's meetings of this project from start to finish. I think they were in front of the planning board 6 times. I think that if GGV had wanted to, they could have cut some costs. Sorry, wait on the bell. Could have cut some costs, but they didn't, to protect the quality of life of the people there. And I think, this is also a project that's been done at very moderate density relative to what could have been done, or even the density increase you've passed. And then lastly, wrapping up, I became aware of GGV and Dave Gallo when the Amagansett project was there. I think they're making a really great contribution to this town. They're a wonderful partner. And I think when you have a partner on one of the most existential issues in town, that you don't just say, to use the Taylor Swift reference, you're on your own, kid. So I think this, you got it, right? I think this support is important. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane.
Okay, David, you had your hand up. Buddha? Yeah.
Good evening again, David Buddha. First of all, I want to thank you for somewhat belatedly posting the relevant documents concerning this public hearing. All 600 plus pages were posted yesterday with relevant and required redactions. I would hope in the future that when we have public hearings that the town board and town staff will be able to post relevant documents in a more timely manner so that people will have a better chance to fully digest them. Number two, this application is an anomaly. The general products request for application states as follows: that proposed projects must result in an increase in or improvement to community housing opportunities in East Hampton through the creation, rehabilitation, conversion, design, or maintenance of community housing, and meet the objectives required by the adopted state and local laws. Examples would be, and this is not an example, the purchase of land for the creation of new housing. That's not what this is about. Purchase of existing homes and or existing rental units for conversion to community housing. That's not what this is about. Construction of new homes and or new rental units for community housing. That's a prospective construction of new homes, not homes that are already now being occupied. Maintenance of existing rental units for community housing, that's not what this is about. The green at Gardner's Point is, for all intents and purposes, a completed $35.4 million project to construct 50 1-, 2-, and 3-bedroom rental units for low-income residents, that is, those between having income of between 30% and 60% of the area mean income. The land cost was about $2.6 million, the construction costs about $23.2 million, and the soft costs for all those professionals and bankers and such are about $8.6 million for a total cost is stated of about $35 million and counting. Georgia Green Ventures is asking for a post-completed construction funding grant of $1 million. The application was prepared, I think, in July or August, and based on a moving target of what interest rates have been over a period of time. And frankly, since the preparation of the application, running to the current date, interest rates have trended down so that the numbers in the application, I think, are not perhaps as current as they could be. I'm a little confused as to when the permanent funding, the conversion of the construction funding into permanent funding, as is done in construction projects, when that will actually occur and when the actual true interest rate will become known and fixed. There have been a lot of partners in this project, and that's fine. But of the 23 point, well, let me just shorten this a little bit here. The application states that $1 million of money requested as a grant would be for construction and site improvements. That is not accurate. The budget provides, and this is something that you should know because there's 600 pages of documents for you to leaf through. The budget for the project provides for a $2.775 million developer's fee, none of which has been compromised or is in any way expected to change based on this application if it's being granted. The funding gap that is spoken of in the application arose due to a significant rise in mortgage interest rates. Well, that's true for all of us who buy things and use mortgage financing. The post-construction grant would be highly unique. Can and will the project open? It already has opened without this $1 million grant being granted? I don't think that's the case. So what would happen if it's not granted? Someone needs to explain what would happen if this grant is not granted. It's certainly not money that's going to go into the housing authority's pocket. It's essentially going to go into the developer's pocket to maintain their expected and perhaps entitled level of profit. When the construction financing was obtained, the original interest rate at that time was 3.2%, and it has substantially increased, but it has perhaps not as increased at this moment and when this transaction will close to the extent that has been projected. I just have one or two more sentences.
Okay.
Interest rates may have reached, as stated in the application, a level of 7.85%, but I believe that they currently are closer to 6.85% for this type of construction financing. So who should bear the financial risk of a developer having failed to anticipate rising permanent financing and costs at completion? Developer states that the project is dependent on this $1 million grant. I'm not really sure that's the case. Lastly, there are ways that developers can structure financing. Perhaps this is a very complicated project, and maybe it was not available, but there are ways that you can eliminate some of the risk by providing a type of financing that takes into account or establishes permanent financing along the process of the construction stages. There would be more that I could say, but time doesn't allow, and I do hope that you will give this very close and careful consideration. There was talk at the work session that perhaps the county would be digging into its pockets to fund additional money towards this shortfall. I don't know if that's the case, and I don't know that the grant would be dependent on that occurring. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Dave? Welcome, Dave.
Thank you. Good evening, Supervisor, Town Board members. My name is David Gallo. I am president of Georgia Green Ventures, and I am here to have a few comments about the request for the green at Gardner's Point. Really very, very proud, and before I say that, just want to thank CHAP for all the work that they did in reviewing the application and approving it, to be here now at the Town Board, and all the questions that they did ask associated with the project, the request, the interest rates, and all of the backup that had went into that application. But we are very, very proud of what we have achieved. and the 50 units that we've been able to build, 100% of it as affordable housing, and to have a building that will be certified by Enterprise Green Community Green Buildings as a super sustainable building, for units on the first floor, all 30, to be accessible and to have adaptability for all of the residents and for visitors. In addition to that, units are set aside for vision and hearing impaired. And this is just a really very well thought out development and something that I could not be more proud of working with the East Hampton Housing Authority. As interest rates did go up, as projects do come to a completion, completion is determined at the conversion. And the conversion is going to take place from construction officially as a permanent project in the first quarter of 2025. And at that point, there will be the state, the county, and we really do hope that the town can also contribute to what will be the investments and the additional investments made by the other levels of government so that this project can close out and continue on for affordable housing. And, we are available at any time to answer any other questions, but I want to thank all of you again for the time that each one of you have taken to hear our request. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else here that would like to address the board? Sure. Yeah, you didn't speak. Yes, you can.
Just very briefly, an award from the Katie Casey East Hampton Housing Authority, again. An award for this application would be a demonstration to the state that the state already knows that the town is committed, and you've been awarded. You've received the pro housing a couple months ago at Gardner's Point when the governor was here. But this would be a demonstration to the state that the town really does support and use local resources for projects such as these that are very expensive to build. The construction interest funds are already out the door. This kind of speaks to what another speaker said, that money's already out the door. So wherever the permanent financing lands, that construction interest, it has already been paid by our partner GGV. As was mentioned, the project is placed in service, meaning people are moving in and the construction is largely completed, but the project is not done until conversion to permanent financing. So this is still an open project. It is not a done deal. There's much work to be done. The developer fee, because the East Hampton Housing Authority has a 25% interest in the managing member that is the entity, the beneficial, and the fee owner. The Housing Authority has a 25% interest. So of that developer fee, approximately $650,000 goes to the Housing Authority to seed further projects, future projects. I just wanted to address a couple of those points. Thank you. I won't take any more of your time.
Matthew, is there anyone on the line?
We have no callers on the line.
Okay.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I just want to say, we're going to have this, a work session discussion on these applications at our first work session in January, which is January 7th. So we'll come back and discuss them so that the community can hear the town board deliberate on the requests. Okay, so we've gotten through all of our public hearings and now we're up to public portion. Is there anyone here that would like to address the board during public portion? Matthew, is there anyone on the line?
We have no callers on the line.
Okay, so now we're going to move to resolutions.
Thank you. I will start off with Resolution 2024-1551. This is for warrant approval. We have two claims in the amount of $4,823,442.68 and $44,374.17, both on utility warrant number 12B. They've been ordered by the town board, and supervisors hereby directed to pay the same.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1552, this is a contract agreement for the town clerk's licensing system software with edmondsgov.tech. It's not to exceed an annual cost of $3,241.35, dated October 1st, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
2024-1553, this is for the Harris-Govern agreement for 2025, which runs the town lands management software. The cost of this is a total of $155,221.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 1554, this is to accept a bid for the transportation disposal of non-recyclable solid waste. The contract has gone to Winter Brothers. Non-recyclable waste will be removed from the town's sanitation department for $139.89. Used tires at $373.79, and construction debris at $136.88.
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I agree.
It seems like these numbers have escalated over last year on the bid, and I believe some of this might be due to the factors a little bit out of our controls about the closing of the Brookhaven landfill. I would just say, is that correct, Tom?
Yeah, that is correct. And David, thanks for bringing this discussion. So just to give people some guidance here, the previous cost for non-recyclable and construction debris last year was $119 as opposed to the roughly $140. So that's a 17% increase over what we've seen last year. So, that's partially been driven by decisions to close the landfill. Winter Brothers is one of the few providers who actually has rail services to remove this waste off the island and deal with it. So it's a good contract for the town. However, it is a significant increased cost, which we will have to manage accordingly as we move forward.
I also would think that the composting initiative that's happening by taking the percentage of tonnage away from what we have to actually send there is also a cost savings in the end, particularly as these increased rates rise, as we don't have the capacity to deal with our local refuse locally. So I think that's a good initiative also there. This is, again, a rising cost that the town has to see and deal and forecast as all our budgets are ongoing then.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that.
No, I think it's a very good call. Composting, recycling of cardboard, mixed paper. The more we actually take out of landfill waste streams, the better it is for the taxpayer as a whole. I mean, comparatively, we get $50 a ton for cardboard waste. So, really try to make an effort as you get rid of your waste, separate out those items that are recyclable because it benefits you in the long run, very simply.
We have a second. So all in favor?
Aye. 2024-1555 is a budget modification for the sanitation department. This is to address the drainage project at the sanitation department, which has been commented on by some public members. This is to move funds from retirement fund in the amount of $18,890.18 to outside professional.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. We are happy to put forward 2024-1556, or at least I am, appoint seasonal snow removal driver in the highway department for 2024-2025 for the season at $35 an hour for Mark Bennett.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2024-1557 is the termination of 2024 seasonal recreational employees, names, positions, dates listed below. And again, thank you very much for your efforts this season.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 1558 is to approve extended sick leave for employee in the Buildings and Grounds Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 1559 is a budget modification and distribution of the 2024 Turkey Run for Fund net proceeds. Again, this is we're increasing the revenue line for rec fees in the amount of $15,648.79 and increasing expenditure line for special events in the amount of $15,648.79. We're distributing rounded $15,648.76 due to the rounding, $3,912.19 to the Montauk Food Pantry, the same to the East Hampton Food Pantry, the same amount to the Springs Food Pantry, and the same amount to the East Hampton Meals on Wheels.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I have resolution 1560, which is notice of public hearing to amend urban renewal map SP6 and to merge urban renewal parcel 18 and 20 into a single lot. And this is resolved that the town board will hold a public hearing on January 16th at 8 p.m. to consider the above.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 1561 is a notice of public hearing to amend urban renewal map EH-2A, parcel 60A and 60B. Take notice, the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on January 16th at 6 PM to consider the modifications, moving some acreage from urban renewal 60A to 60B and EH-2A.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 1562 is a grant of a scenic and conservation easement, public hearing and notice of public hearing for 89 Marie Boulevard in Amagansett. This public hearing will take place on Thursday, January 16th at 6 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 1563 is approval to issue a check for a special event permit refund to Well-Dressed Events. And this is whereas following the event planning company, Well-Dressed Events submitted a special event permit on behalf of Longhouse Reserve to receive a permit for a Longhouse fundraiser. Longhouse Reserve is a nonprofit 501c3 and is requested a refund. Resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to issue a refund check in the amount total of $1,300.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 1564, this is to approve first-time home buyers assistance for Raymond Sharon in the amount of $30,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Congrats.
Resolution 1565 is to schedule the 2025 organizational meeting and first regular meeting. The annual organizational meeting will be Thursday, January 2nd at 11 a.m., and the first regular meeting will be the same day at 6 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1566 is to accept proposal EH 2024-109. This is for professional consulting services for continued remedial investigation of the airport Class 2 inactive hazardous waste site, and this is with FPM Group. We had this discussion at the work session on Tuesday. The project is included in the 2025 Clean Water State Revolving Fund program's final intended use plan for a total cost of $1.3 million, which is the first step in applying for a grant through the Environmental Facilities Corporation. And the town budget office is hereby authorized to do the following budget modification to cover the cost of the services and shall revise said modification should the grant funds be awarded. We're increasing the budget line for appropriated unreserved fund balance in the amount of $364,000 and increasing the outside professional line in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1567 is to accept bid EH 24-046, printing of miscellaneous forms for November 2024 to EOC Print LLC.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2024-1568 is for Child Safety Technician Police Officer Ross Hamilton to be reimbursed for his out-of-pocket expense for the application fee in the amount of $55.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1569 is to authorize the supervisor to execute a contract with Chief of Police Michael Sarlo for a term ending on December 31st, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1570 is to authorize a settlement agreement with the estate of Eames versus the town of East Hampton et al., and this is in the sum of $2,100.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1571 is to authorize a settle agreement with Ludson versus the town of East Hampton for the payment of $2,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1572 is to pay a NYMER deductible for Richard Zeeb, and this is in the amount of $372.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1573 is the Eastern Suffolk BOCES Cooperative Participant Resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1574 is to authorize a payment to Source Pass in the amount of $412.50.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1575 is to approve an agreement with CAI Technology. This is for GIS professional services, upgrade of software. The financial impact is $16,400.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1576 is to approve agreement with CAI Technology for GIS professional services, and this is the financial impact is $9,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1577 is to approve an agreement with Nearmap US, Inc. This is GIS aerial imagery subscription service for 2025, and this is a total of $15,260 for a 12-month renewal subscription term.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1578 is to increase the cap with Fragano LLC as environmental counsel for 2024 in an amount not to exceed $110,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1579 is to increase Regano LLC Airport Litigation 2024 in an amount not to exceed $125,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1580 is to increase the cap with the Law Office of Vincent Toomey for general matters in 2024, and this constitutes a total of $75,000 for the calendar year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1581 is to approve the use of American Rescue Plan 2021 funding, and this is for a sanitation department drainage project in the amount of $40,709.82.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1582 is a budget modification for the police, and this is moving $1,750 from clothing cleaning allowance to dental and optical benefits.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1583 is a budget modification for the airport. We're moving $6,500 from contingency, $3,000 from New York State retirement, and $25,500 from health insurance to outside professional for a total of $35,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1584 is a budget modification for the American Rescue Plan Act 2021 funding. We're increasing federal aid ARPA in the amount of $40,709.82, and we're increasing the expenditure budget line for outside professional in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1585 is a budget modification for the town attorney A fund, and we're moving $830 from New York State retirement to online law services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1586 is a budget modification for the town attorney's B fund, and this is, we're increasing interest on investments and in the amount of $110,000, and we're increasing the outside professional line in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1587 is to amend Resolution 2024-1387, American Rescue Plan funding.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have two walk-on resolutions, given that it's the last meeting of the year. We needed to get some business done. This is resolution ID number 32130. This is to award the 2024 department head bonuses. The town board recognizes that throughout 2024, demands on town department heads and staff have been challenging due to recruitment of staff and increased demand for services, and the town board acknowledges the tireless efforts by all. The performance of two department heads was determined to be of such exceptional service to the town that it was worthy of recognition and a bonus, and this is a one-time bonus of $3,000 to be provided to Neji Valera, the Deputy Budget Officer, and Diane Patrizio, Director of Human Services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I have resolution ID 32149. This is to authorize a payment. It's a past due invoice from 2023 for e-typist in the town attorney's office in the amount of $180.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that is what we have for today. I do want to say that, our town and community has been decked out for the holidays for the last several weeks. We're so fortunate here in East Hampton to be surrounded by the magic and cheer of this holiday season. For some, it's going to be a time to gather with loved ones and celebrate, and for others, it's a time to relax and reflect. As we close out this final town board meeting of 2024, I just want to say how grateful I am for my colleagues and our town staff. And I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and a healthy and peaceful New Year.
Thank you.
Second.
So now I believe we need a motion to go into exec session.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for personnel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Much peace in the new year.
All right, good night, all.
Matthew, thank you for everything and congratulations on your grant, your
Thank
first time
you.
home buyer.
Thank you very much.
Great, happy holidays.
Have a great holiday, everyone.